He didn't have much formal education. He began his career selling sewing machines and pianos in upstate New York. But by the time he took over the computing, tabulating, recording company in 1914, Thomas J. Watson had developed some pretty big ideas. All the problems of the world could be settled easily, he once said, if men were only willing to think. Sometime after 1924, when Watson renamed the company International Business Machines Corporation, think became its motto. IBM, of course, went on to become one of the world's most admired companies and most recognized brands. The company whose technology sent astronauts to the moon and a chess champion packing. The company that started out selling clocks and tabulating machines to businesses in the United States and went on to revolutionize the way that business is done around the world. In some ways, IBM became more than a company. It became an icon. How does something like that happen? How do you become a model of business, of technology, of progress itself? It all begins with a deep understanding of what IBM is. Our company has always been about innovation. It has always been informed by values, and it has always been animated by a belief that intelligence, science, and common sense can solve problems in business and society. Big problems, important problems, the kind of problems that make you think. That only happens by embracing change and by trusting in the smarts and passion that unites more than 300,000 people around the world who call themselves IBMers.
The places where I go, all I have to say is I'm from IBM. And the doors are open. People have this notion of who I am.
I was sent into Eastern Europe in '95 to set up the IBM operations for banking in Eastern Europe. You cannot imagine what an IBM business card with 8 blue stripes would open to you.
I think everyone needs to recognize that there are a few brands that are truly aspirational, where people get up in the morning and they say, I can in fact make a difference. And IBM certainly makes a difference in the world. And I think one of the reasons why brand is so strong is because its people recognize that it's more than a job.
When I found out that I had become an IBMer, it was just the greatest moment. I was driving in my car and I couldn't control myself. I had to pull over for a second.
And after a while, you will become an IBM, and then IBM gets a little bit in your chromosomes, and you feel an IBM.
When I first came in this company, people had this phrase IBMer, and they would even say, when you're once an IBMer, you are an IBMer forever. And I thought, that sounds a little strange. Today, I would say exactly the same thing.
Values were implicit in every employee I ever worked with at IBM. We knew they were committed, they were dedicated, they were trustworthy.
For decades and decades, that is what IBM has stood for. It knows the importance of those values. It's what Mr. Watson created, and it's what all of the generations of leadership since then have followed through.
And it's those sets of values that integrate IBM that bring us all together. It's this culture, I call it the DNA of IBM. It's what attracts people to IBM and makes people do incredible things when they work at IBM.
I think the impact of the culture of IBM hit me in a very personal way. 9/11 American Express was obviously very strongly affected because our headquarters are right across the street from the World Trade Center. IBM employees demonstrated that they didn't need to get orders directly from top management. They knew that their responsibility and obligation was to take care of their customers and to feel the commitment and the energy and the compassion of IBM employees really says a lot about the culture of IBM.
At some point in history, the public imagination froze on an image of IBMers as the guys in the blue suits. That led some people to joke that the letters IBM stood for Identical Blue Men. Now that might have been funny once, but it was never true. This was a company that recruited young professional women to its ranks, mandated equal pay for equal work, cultivated a diverse global workforce, and wrote non-discrimination into its employment policies decades before any law required it. As early as 1943, IBM promoted its first female vice president, the company's first black American salesman hired on 3 years later. As IBM grew and changed, its people grew and changed as well. Smart kids from Argentina to Australia grew up aspiring to be an IBM scientist or an IBM engineer. Today's IBMer is just as likely to be a management consultant or a bioengineering expert as a computer scientist anywhere in the 170 countries where IBM does business. The reason is simple. A company built on innovation requires a constant stream of ideas and perspectives. All of the innovations that IBM has brought, every innovation that it will ever bring, comes from the diversity of thought that IBM has cultivated for decades and has always given back to the world.
In 1924, Watson changed the name of the then Computing, Tabulating and Recording Company into International Business Machines. It was a daring and presumptuous name in 1924, but it speaks to the vision and to the aspiration of being global.
The way that IBM built its global enterprise stands as a model of leadership and I'd say statesmanship. IBM did it becoming part of the local culture and then helping to build national economies around the world.
In Japan, IBM is recognized and respected not just as a global company, but as a Japanese company.
We had a time where in Brazil was impossible to sell computers unless you brought currency. And the way to bring currency was to sell products. So we were trading orange, we were trading coffee. We did several things in order to keep the company working, running, and serving the marketplace.
We are leading China's information industry. We're making a major contribution to the economy of this country.
We have been operating 90 years in Latin America. There is no IT vendor that has been 90 years in Latin America. You see people coming in, getting out. If things get difficult, they move out. No, we stay. We stay.
Global commerce, as it's evolved over the last 50 years, really is a reflection of Watson's genius. It's one of IBM's greatest innovations.
For IBM, being global was about more than cultivating a marketplace. IBM's expanding network of offices, plants, and research labs planted seeds of economic development and human potential in every part of the world. More than 3,000 scientists, mathematicians, and other research specialists work in IBM labs from India to Israel, from the United States to China, from Japan to Switzerland. Together, they comprise the largest information technology research organization in the world. And when you think about IBM's contributions to the world of science and technology, it's natural to start here with the legendary thinkers who created Fortran, memory chips, the relational database, and fractals, who helped launch human beings into the universe and bring them back safely, and allowed scientists to view the world from the perspective of a single atom. Along the way, IBM's remarkable efforts have resulted in 5 Nobel Prize winners so far. But invention is one thing, innovation is another. Innovation combines new technologies with new ways of using them. More and more, it's taking place wherever IBM's best minds come together and collaborate, with each other and with our clients, with a view towards solving the complexities of the modern world.
IBM is the leading innovation company in the world. The personal motivation of people in IBM to innovate, I think, is that they are simply in a great environment, that they have fun producing something and changing things, changing the world. And that's why this place is so innovative.
Growth is critical. It's exciting. It's what people want to be part of. There's an energy associated with it. Innovation will allow us to do that. Innovating in the marketplace, to look at adjacent spaces, not just the spaces that we're in today. That's frontier stuff. And frontier is what excites people.
It's hard to imagine punch cards were ever considered pioneering, but that's where the frontier of business technology was in the 1920s. And if IBM had never aspired to do more than make punch card machines, it still would have earned its place in history. It also would have closed up shop sometime in the 1940s. But IBM never defined itself by the products and technologies it created. This was always a company with a mission to push the boundaries. IBM will bet the company on its boldest ideas. In 1964, it was the System 360, a revolutionary computing system that Fortune magazine called IBM's $5 billion gamble. It paid off. IBM introduced the mainframe to the world and entered a period of unprecedented success. Fast forward about 40 years. This time, it's a $10 billion bet called on-demand business. The business world is now very different, but IBM's approach is still the same. Innovate, take risks, set the agenda. The biggest danger, in the end, comes not from taking risks, but from becoming complacent. And if we ever needed proof of that, we got it in the early 1990s. Lulled by our own success, we stopped listening to clients, failed to capitalize on innovation. The result? A near-death experience so portentous that the New York Times published the company's obituary. And IBM being IBM, it appeared on the front page. But there's something about institutions that are built to last. They do. IBM refused to die. IBMers pulled themselves back from the brink. They started by remembering their roots, the commitment to innovation and client success that's written into their DNA. When Deep Blue, the IBM supercomputer, defeated the reigning chess grandmaster in 1997, to many people it was a symbol that IBM was back. But in truth, IBM came back through the hard work of every IBMer in every part of the world. Together we remade the company from the outside in. We built vast new businesses, software, services, changed the way we worked with clients, rebuilt the entire product line, embraced new ways of developing technology. We saw years before others the potential of the internet as a transformational force in the world.
We believe that the industry more and more is going to be about the integration of insight or business process knowledge and core technologies. And we think we're the only company in this industry that has both those capabilities as well as the foresight to set and lead and drive this future agenda for the information technology industry.
There's no question whatsoever that the people who are working at IBM have already had and will continue to have a big impact on institutions like Mayo Clinic and others to provide better health care for the citizens of the United States and the world.
IBM, as a technology partner, has helped us craft the technology backbone of this company and has helped innovate and helped us pioneer something that never existed before.
Without IBM and the systems they provided, we would not have landed on the moon. We were all working on the boundaries of knowledge, technology, and all experience. Apollo 13, we had an oxygen tank explosion 55 hours into the mission. It very quickly became a mission of survival. IBM and the computer engineers had to get into the system and update the constants, update the spacecraft. This was a period of time where the hands-on experience, the hands-on control provided by IBM was essential to the early decisions that brought this crew back safely to Earth.
When we started our project, the scanning tunneling microscope, some people approached us and said, that's a little risky what you are doing, and it's also a little crazy. I think you will never succeed. It's dreaming. And then you somehow you tumble and stumble and you don't know what is happening. And then you get an image of this atomic landscape and you see atoms. It's seeing something nobody has seen before. That is something I will never forget. It's something like you don't know whether you should cry or laugh, and if you get some reward like the Nobel Prize then for it, that's even better.
As we begin the 21st century, IBM is primed to contribute in more ways than ever before. Our scientists are pushing into the realm of the unimaginably small with advances in nanotechnology, harnessing atomic scale structures to create new kinds of devices and applications. We're developing chips that are simultaneously low cost and high performance that will power everything from game machines, cars and telephones to supercomputers. IBM's Blue Gene system is aimed at unraveling the mysteries of life itself, proteins and the human genome. At 360 trillion calculations a second, it's the most powerful computing device on Earth. New frontiers, And that's just what's going on in our labs. Tens of thousands of the world's smartest business experts, maybe you're one of them, are working every day with governments, hospitals, universities, and companies of every size in every industry. Together in this new century, IBMers are reimagining how fundamental things happen in the world and what kinds of core values need to infuse them, and us. This, in the end, is what IBM has always done, making a difference with our clients, and in doing that, making an impact on the world.
We're looking for people that are committed, that are passionate, and that when they come to work every day, they come to work with this incredible passion and enthusiasm that they want to make a difference.
I mean, it's simply unbelievable. You have to think to yourself, what kind of a company do I want to associate with? And you'd say, I want to be at IBM because my future can be as big as the planet, literally, because that's the world that they live in.
When I joined IBM, I had no idea I would have the experiences that I've had. I started out on the technology side of our business, but over the years, as we expanded the products and services inside of IBM, I had numerous opportunities to expand with it.
Coming from PwC Consulting, you know, all I ever thought that I wanted to be was a consultant. Now being part of an IBM environment, the world's your oyster. IBM is the place to be. This is the place I want to be.
I came to IBM by chance and stayed at IBM by necessity. There was no alternative. This has been the best place for me to develop the kind of man, the kind of career which I had dreamt for myself as a young man.
You'll never run out of learning, and it will keeps you going for, I would say, a couple of lives.
IBM provides you with challenges, but most importantly, it provides you with a stage that allows you to climb up and shine.
40 years ago, when I came here, I thought, how could you be born at a better time? Now I sit back and I reflect, and I kind of wonder about maybe I was 40 years too early, because the real excitement, the real opportunity is now taking all of that technology and applying it.
You at IBM have the opportunity to make the difference. There are worlds to be discovered, scientific breakthroughs needed for all mankind.
Do you want to do great things? What could you do if you had the best set of tools and the deepest resources at your disposal? If you were in the company of hundreds of thousands of the smartest people on the planet? What if you found yourself in a place that truly believed in values and lived them, that was a force for progress, and that hired you because it believed in you, in your imagination, your ability to make a difference, to innovate? What would you do then? Think.